Hey, snowmobilers. In the past, I've done, covered new snowmobiles. Today, we're going to be covering used snowmobiles, specifically kind of a minimum price. It's like setting a baseline. What can you get for your money? A snowmobile that you can bring home, put gas in, and ride it right away. So we're not talking about fixer-uppers. We're talking about snowmobiles that can be ridden right away, and that you don't have to worry about breaking down, at least for the first ride. The market right now is in flux. In the past, the market was pretty stable. If a snowmobile was for sale yesterday, it's for sale today. And today, that's not the case. All right, first concept that I want to introduce to you, and this is something I mentioned in my last video, is don't forget about dealers. In this case, this is Thomas Snow Sports, and this is actually one of my more reliable dealers to find good deals on good snowmobiles at a very reasonable price. This is the second one of these that I've seen from them posted in the recent past, and this is an excellent deal. Look at how clean this snowmobile is. So the first concept I want to introduce to you right now is don't forget about dealers. And I'm looking at the mileage down here, and it says 11,000 miles. So that's why this is only $1,450. But what you're getting for your $1,400 is really a good value. This is a nice snowmobile. I'm very impressed. Okay, here's another one. This is a private seller, and in this case, this is an Indy Classic, and we've talked about the Classic name in the past. That usually is the kind of the more expensive snowmobiles, the fancier ones, the ones with the creature comforts, handlebar warmers, thumb warmer, reverse, electric start. And in this case, this is that kind of snowmobile. They don't say what engine is in it. I could not find any information. There aren't very many pictures, and none of the pictures are of the engine compartment. As you can see here, there's steel skis, and then there's another issue here that I found, and in this picture, you can kind of see there should be a bumper up here. There's no bumper. There's no front bumper, so I don't know what's going on with that. It does have electric start and reverse. This is a good snowmobile, and it's a good price, $1,350. Now, here's another concept that I want to introduce to you today. So first one is don't forget dealers. The second one is $2,000. So here's a snowmobile that is priced at $1,350. So when you see a snowmobile for less than $2,000, expect to pay ultimately $2,000 to get it fixed up. Here's another one of these Arctic Cats. Look at this thing. This is another beauty. And here's another great thing that people sometimes do. Watch for this. This is a really good piece of information. This one is still for sale, which boggles my mind because if for no other reason than this right here, they took the time to compression test the cylinders, and they're getting 120 psi on both cylinders. This thing is good to go. You can look for leaks and stuff like that, obvious things, but really at $1,600, that's a really good deal. And again, you're going to end up being in that $2,000 range by the time you're all said and done. Okay, here's a Skidoo. This is another good snowmobile and a good value. This is a really good value, actually. So this is an older one, 96. It needs carbs cleaned, but does run. Okay, we don't know what condition the engine is in. Carbs cleaned, and I'm using air quotes, could mean a whole bunch of stuff. In other words, it runs rough. They're not really sure what's wrong with it. Probably the carbs, but who knows? Nobody's taken actually the time to look at it. Okay, that means you have no idea what's wrong with it. So $1,000 is a fair price for this because you don't know what's wrong with the engine. The other thing with this snowmobile is the seat is, you can't really see it here, but the seat is rough. There's no openings in the vinyl. But this whole thing here, it looks like maybe there's like a design on the seat. No, those are all cracks. These are all cracks. This seat is not long for this world. You're looking at maybe, working on this, steel skis again. This is a really good value. Excellent value for $1,000. Okay, here's one, and I highlighted something to introduce the third concept when you're looking for a snowmobile. This is a beautiful Polaris. 2000 Indy 500. So I think those are the old. I'm not sure if this is the Liberty twin or if this is the older Fuji Heavy Industries liquid twin, but this is a liquid cooled 500. Another good running snowmobile, steel skis. So is it among the last steel skis ever put on a snowmobile, probably 2000. They all went plastic. Here's the problem. Odometer doesn't work. So concept number 3, if you see a snowmobile and it says either the odometer doesn't work or the speedometer doesn't work, they're the same. It's the same gauge. Why doesn't it work? Because the pin is broken on the drive shaft. Why is the pin broken on the drive shaft? Because the bearing is bad on the drive shaft. If the bearing is bad on the drive shaft, well, first of all, you got to write off the bearing, but then you might also have to write off the drive shaft, and there might be other parts that you need. In other words, this thing, plan on spending the next 2 weeks, you get this snowmobile, spend on the next 2 weeks scrounging for parts, taking this apart. The rear suspension has to come out, the drive shaft has to come out, the chain case has to come out. If the drive shaft needs to be replaced or anything else bad happens to it, you're looking at $2,000. I'd be really interested in this snowmobile, but plan on the next 2 weeks at least working on it. So just so you know, this one needs to be fixed up. Okay, here's another one. This one is sold, unfortunately, and again, you're going to see that there's quite a bit of turnover on these snowmobiles. And by the time I marked this, it was only a couple days ago until I filmed this one sold. So unfortunately, I was able to grab the ad so I could show you. But this is a really another good snowmobile. 3,400 miles. This is another 500, liquid cooled, carbs cleaned. So in other words, they actually went through, this thing actually runs good. They made sure of that. Seat is in good condition. No reverse or electric start. But for $850, I'll take it. This is a good value right here. It's sticking to my $2,000 limit. What else is wrong with it? It is a 97. I don't know what's wrong with it. It looks fine. There's no red flags here. There's no grass growing around it. I don't know what's wrong with it. Maybe nothing. For $850, that's a really good deal. Okay, here's another one. Now, this is a classic 500. I believe this is the old Fuji Twin, but I can't be sure. The 500 engines. This is an Edge chassis. So this is the last trailing link front suspension on a Polaris. So that makes it the best, really. This is one of the best riding Polarises before they went with the kind of the rider forward kind of approach. Okay, so this is a really good snowmobile, just the basis of it. Plastic skis, it's got rear view mirrors. What else did I see that I really liked? Oh, it's got reverse. So here's the reverse handle right here. It's a mechanical reverse. It's not, this is it's 2002. So just like mine, this is a 2002, but the Classic Touring got push button reverse and the regular Classic got mechanical reverse. Okay, but overall really good. Electric start, reverse, 6,500 miles they think. Engine was rebuilt. So you're getting a fresh rebuild on this. That's great. Very good so far. Speedometer does not, oh, wait a sec. So here we are again. The first thing you're going to do when you buy this snowmobile is you're going to learn how it was put together, because you're going to have to roll that it's on its side, pull the rear suspension, pull the track, pull the drive shaft. Oh, and this reverse, this mechanical reverse, that's part of the chain case, which makes it a more complex chain case assembly. Maybe replace the drive shaft, definitely replace the bearings. So $1,200, you're going to have easily $2,000 into this snowmobile by the time you hit the snow. So just know that up front. But really, overall, a great value, and that's why I highlighted it. Whoever bought it got a great sled. Okay, so I'm not saying that. I'm just saying read into this a little bit so that you know what you're getting. Okay, here's another classic. Now, this happens to be a classic 700. You don't hear about too many of these 700s. It kind of looks like maybe it rained. I'm not really sure why everything is wet here. When you look at it, everything looks really good. The belly pan looks really good, no damage. Everything looks really clean on this. The 700 is a good engine. You don't hear much about those, but those are good engines. Here's my problem with this ad. Okay, first of all, $1,900. So you're getting up into that $2,000 range. This thing better be ready to go. And there's no description. What is this thing? Tell me about it. How many miles on it? When was it last ridden? What's going on with this snowmobile? Otherwise, good snowmobile. Nice looking snowmobile. I would definitely be interested in this one. Okay, here is another one, a 1991 Arctic Cat, so it's a little older. The 530 is a liquid-cooled engine. This seller says near mint shape. Okay, whatever. You're, trying to build it up. Okay, whatever. But in looking at this picture, I'm not seeing any problem with the seat. Oh, it does say here, here's something interesting. Left side of seat, there was a tear, but it was glued. So in other words, they repaired this. There was one minor problem with the seat. They repaired it. This is a really good value. $1,000. This is a really good value. Has a cover. So again, you don't think of stuff like that. You don't think about the cover, and that is critical in taking care of your snowmobile, whether it's stored inside or not. Okay, I don't know what I just hit there. Okay, here's another one of my all-time favorites, 1990 Polaris Indy Trails. This one has this rack on the back. This was a factory option, I believe. Kind of unusual on a single-seater, but okay, whatever. Still not bad, Overall, a good snowmobile. I would say this is a little high, but if it's well taken care of, it might not be. Again, how much money do you have to sink into this thing? If I can ride this right off the bat without putting any money into it, it's worth every penny, okay? Again, $2,000. I don't know why it's on a stand in the yard. Kind of an interesting thing. And no description, unfortunately. I wish they would tell you, give me something, but no. Does a speedometer work? Who knows? Okay, here's another one that's sold, unfortunately, another great value. Liquid cooled 500, 3,900 miles, so low miles for the age, really nice looking, nice big gas tank. This is probably 11-gallon gas tank. Plastic skis. There is a chip out of this ski here. It doesn't look right. Don't get too bent out of shape about that. The skis are kind of a consumable item. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Nice looking windshield. This is a really nice snowmobile. For $1,500, that's a good deal. Okay, here's another dealership. Look what's back here. Another one of my snowmobiles. This is another good. This is a used snowmobile dealership. So they don't sell new snowmobiles. This is kind of a consignment shop. I looked them up, but this is a really good value. A little on the high side, $1,700. But this is a really clean snowmobile. Looking at the pictures on this, really good. Indy 500, 1,468 miles. That's why this price is $1,750. So you're looking at a snowmobile that probably does not need anything replaced. Here you can see the front bumper on this style. So that's the kind of bumper you were looking for in that previous snowmobile, and it wasn't there. I don't know why, but the overall really nice snowmobile. I would definitely be interested in this. Even though it's at a dealership, that's a good deal. Okay, here's another Skidoo private seller, 440 fan, 2,800 miles. This is a two-up seat. This would be a great ice fishing snowmobile right here, or even just for a beginner, $1,000. Now, this happens to be the same town as that dealership, but I don't think this is a dealership. I think this is a private seller. But nice looking snowmobile. The sticker says 2025 on it. So this thing has probably most likely been ridden in the recent past. You're getting a really good value for $1,000. Okay, here's another. This was Polaris's entry into the rider forward design. Their first wishbone suspension, front suspension. Pretty good riding snowmobile overall. Kind of ugly, I think, but a really good riding snowmobile, and only $1,500. Expect to spend $2,000 by the time this thing is on the road or on the trail. Okay, here's another dealership, $1,800. This is an older ad. I'm not sure if this is still available or not. Nice snowmobile for $1,800. Okay, we're getting towards the end here. This is a 2003 Classic 600. This is the Liberty variable exhaust. So this is the good 600 engine. Same engine I have in my Classic Touring. Really good engine. Probably the best carbureted engine ever put on a snowmobile. Just an outstanding engine. Love that engine. These are really good. Again, this is an Edge chassis. Really good riding snowmobile. Good engine. Overall, you're going to get push button reverse on this, I believe. And electric start. It's got the mirrors. $2,000 right at our limit. Hopefully you don't need to replace anything. You never know. With a snowmobile, you never know. Okay, that is my last one. I'll leave it with that. I hope you guys found this interesting. I think, again, the three concepts: expect to spend $2,000 no matter what the price is. Um, don't forget about dealers. And if it says speedometer doesn't work or odometer doesn't work, that's a sign that you're going to be spending quite a bit of time fixing that problem. Don't ride a snowmobile that says the speedometer doesn't work. That is not ready to go. You're going to need to put money into it to get that one ready to go. So with that, I hope you guys learned something. That's kind of the state of affairs starting into December of 2025. Let's get out and ride. Don't be afraid to take a look at these. And that's the other thing is contact the seller. Don't be afraid to go look at them. The more of these that you look for, the more you're going to learn, and the more that you're going to be able to make an informed decision on what you want. Be sure to sit on it. If you can start it, that's great. Anything you can do to learn more about the snowmobile. Don't be afraid to walk away from a snowmobile, and don't be in a hurry to buy. But like I said, there is quite a bit of turnover right now. People are getting, they're buying snowmobiles, they're selling and buying, and that's kind of where we're at for December. So coming into December here, that's what you want to know. Thanks for watching, and I really hope I see you on the trail.